Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Happy Memorial Day, happy bank holiday, wherever you are in the world, whatever you're celebrating, please do enjoy. And thank you to all of those who served and lost their life in our country and all over the world. We honor you, we recognize you, and we thank all of our veterans as well. I'm Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK, and our show today is Secrets to Timeless Beauty. And we are going to be talking about dating, online dating. And our expert, the star of our show, is Katrina Valente. And she has been busy, very busy dating. It's like a full-time career. Let's bring her out. She's joining us from Dubai. Hello.
Hi. Good evening. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing very well. You look very refreshed, despite the fact that you have been going, and on the dating run. How's it been?
Wow, what an experience. You know, I've been traveling extensively for the last 2 years and I haven't connected with men really. I haven't dated, and I'm back in Dubai now for quite a few months. So I thought I'd get back into it. And the quickest way to do that is get on the dating apps, which I absolutely hate. But I thought, okay, Katrina, I'd do it. And then I announced it on Instagram and everybody went crazy. And they were like wanting me to talk about the dates and stuff. And so, yeah, that kind of inspired me to keep going. And so far, I've been on 11 dates in about 11 days.
Oh my gosh, that is a lot. So talk to our audience about the fact that you've kind of been making a transition in your career. And does this dating have any impact on what it is you're doing in terms of research?
Definitely. I mean, you know, I'm moving much more into coaching and relationship coaching. And, you know, I thought I would experience, because, you know, when you're not in a relationship, you get a bit rusty. So I needed to connect back in with men and, you know, interact with men again. So this has actually been a great experience, a great learning. I've been able to observe myself through these dates. I've realized that I've become a lot more empowered, that the reflection of these men and what they're doing with me and the way they're treating me is showing me that I have actually done the inner work, and that is fantastic.
Congratulations. That is huge. I love it.
Yeah.
So tell us how you started on this dating journey. Did you have a plan? Was there anything?
I had no plan. It was absolutely organic. I was coming back to Dubai. It was time that I find myself a man. And I just thought, okay, I'm going to go on to Bumble first, because that's a bit better than Tinder, apparently. This is only the third time I've ever done this in my life. But I always do things big. So I just thought I'm just going to, you know, swipe as many men as I think I like. I'm not strategizing too much. You know, they might say something, I've got to like the way they look. And then I want to meet them as quickly as possible, because you waste time talking and texting online. It takes up a lot of time. But if you meet them and you don't like them, you've wasted your time. So I think it's always different when you meet someone, even though you might get on with them very well. texting. When you see them in person, it's only then that you will feel the connection.
Okay, I love that you shared this because I have a question from another perspective, and I know you and I have discussed this before. What about years and years and years ago when people were pen pals and they never actually saw each other until some long time later, but yet they had built a relationship by sharing information through the power of the pen?
I don't know, Dr. Jacalyn. For me personally, I think it doesn't matter how much you get to know a person, you have to meet them physically. Because then their little idiosyncrasies come out. Like the personality is different, the character's different. You know, yeah, I don't think there's a way around that.
Okay. And believe me, I'm right there with you because there has to be that chemistry, whether it's physical, intellectual, emotional, some kind of connection. So you started to do this online. Did you go specifically onto one platform only?
I went on to Bumble first, and then when I exhausted that, I went on to Tinder. So I've been working both of them, and I've got men from both of them. Actually, one of the men I liked the most, he was not on any of the dating apps. He found me on Instagram through one of my friends that reposted my video, and he was a friend of my friend, but they had never met. And he private messaged me, and he was very charming. He was Italian, and I went out on a lovely lunch date with him, and he was very well-rounded individual. So yeah, it's been interesting. I mean, I did a post on each and every one of them. Obviously, I didn't name or shame them too much, but I just talked about my experience. And it has been a great learning for me, I have to say.
And this particular person that you enjoyed the time with, was there any reason why you would pick the lunchtime as opposed to dinner time?
I wouldn't ever do dinner. Now, here's the thing. I can buy my own dinner. I don't need a man to buy me dinner. But a lot of the men are telling me, actually, two of them said to me, I'm really surprised you only wanted to meet me for coffee. And I'm like, why? He says, well, all the girls want to meet for dinner and they tell you exactly what restaurant, and it's always some expensive restaurant in Dubai, or they won't go out with you. And I'm like, what? It's like, well, I'm just not from that generation. I said, listen, I'll meet you for coffee first, and if I like you, then we'll go for dinner. But there's no way I'm going to sit through a dinner with someone I'm not attracted to. It's just painful.
So I love the honesty here that I'll have a coffee with you and if I like you. So what did you decide to do or say at the end of the day? Did you hold up a paddle with a 10 on it or did you say, what did you do?
I mean, all of them have been nice. I can't say anything, but I look for that chemistry. I've got to be physically attracted to somebody. And so far, there's only really been one guy that I've been physically attracted to. I am meeting two this week, and I've already met one of them. We had a yacht party at the weekend, and I invited him, and he's very nice. He seems really fun and he was a gentleman. He came and picked me up, even though we weren't on a date. I had just invited him to this yacht party. He insisted on picking me up in his Maserati.
Wow, you go, girl.
So I'm going out on a date with him tomorrow night, and then there's another guy who I've connected with that lives in between Turkey and Dubai, and he's here for 5 days, so he wants to meet me. So I think once I've met these two, I'm going to be done for a while, and I need to, get back into real life because this has been extremely time consuming.
I understand that, and I'm exhausted for you. So I do have a number of questions as I live vicariously through you. So you had a yacht party and you invite this person you don't know. You're in the vehicle, his car. You go to the party. What happens if you absolutely can't stand him and now you need to get a ride, you can get an Uber or whatever?
No, because I had spoken to him a few times, but it was a singles party. So I invited him along. He wasn't actually my date. I actually invited 3 of the guys from Tinder, and they all came. So that was
Wait, stop, please. Wait, time out. Wait, you invited 4 guys to this party?
Three of them that I met on Tinder, but I told them it was a singles yacht party. Would they like to go? And they all said to me, "Are you going?" I said, "Yes, I'm going." But I wasn't on a date with any of them. And actually, the guy that picked me up spent the whole night talking to my girlfriend, which was great. And I said to him when we went in, "It's okay, we're not on a date. You go and talk to whoever you like." And him and one of my girlfriends really connected. And then I said to him, if you want to take her out, feel free. I mean, she's recently divorced, not a problem for me. And so he said, no, I want to take you out. Let's go out on Tuesday. So yeah, let's see.
Very interesting. Now, what about the other 3 guys? Did you have any time with them?
Yeah, I mean, one of them particularly was trying to get the other 2 were kind of fighting for my attention. So that was quite fun, but not too much. I mean, they're older guys, so they've got a bit of decorum at least. and there was lots of other, very attractive women. I mean, they're all my friends. So they're all very high value, beautiful women. So, there was a minefield for them. I wasn't the only one.
I love this whole concept because there's a lot less pressure this way.
Yeah.
So what are some of the key takeaways that you have or the advice that you can give to people out there who are watching or listening and thinking, oh, I really want to meet someone. I'm a little apprehensive about online dating.
Look, I would say what I've learned from it is that just observe yourself, know what you want before you go in. I mean, I do want to meet someone and to have a regular boyfriend. So you've got to know what you're looking for, know your boundaries. I just did a post on boundaries. A lot of people don't know their boundaries. What's acceptable and not acceptable for you? I mean, for me, if they make me pay for my coffee or my lunch or my dinner, they're gone. They're gone. That's it. That is a non-negotiable for me. I think a man has to be a gentleman. Saying that, I mean, there was 2 guys that brought me a bouquet of red roses.
Oh,
Dying now. But I think on a first date, that's a bit OTT. I mean, I think that kind of puts me off as well because they don't know you. So they're obviously going on looks alone. And although I appreciated the gesture, I don't think it's very authentic. I mean, one guy, the ultimate, he was a chef. And I met him briefly one evening after I'd been out. I was very tired. And he insisted he wanted to cook for me. And he said, we'll do lunch and then we'll go to the pool and then I'll make you dinner. I said, hang on a minute. I said, no. You're not seeing me naked on a first date. I mean, that is such a cop-out. Check out the goods before you buy kind of thing. You don't do that, girls. You remain a lady. You have your standards. Remember, you are a queen and you have to be treated as such. So I agreed to go and have lunch with him in his apartment, which I wouldn't normally do, but I wasn't at all intimidated by him. You can I'm a very good judge of character that way. And Dubai, I mean, nothing's going to happen here. I mean, the chances of anything happening are few and far between. So I went and I opened the door. He opened it with one hand and swung round the other with the flowers for me. And then I walked into the apartment and it was covered in petals on the floor, petals on the tabletop, candles. This is for lunch. This is the first real date I'd had with this guy. I mean, really?
Wow.
It was too much. It was just too much.
Top.
It's so over the top. And although I appreciated it, and, you know, kept saying, you're so special, you deserve it. And it's a bit off-putting. Because if you got an alpha male, say, he would never do something like that. If you want to compare, you know, and this guy, he was 44. He's a chef. You know, he cooked me a lovely lunch. I asked him to cook me pasta, and he made fresh truffles and chicken and pesto creamy sauce, which I love, being Italian. And then as soon as we sat down on the couch, he pounced on me.
I'm waiting for, is there a tagline? I was waiting. He pounced on me and
well, it's just, he was all over me. And it's like, this is the first day. It's like, what, you think because you've made me lunch and done all this for me, now it's carpe diem. I'll just put out for you. Trying to kiss me, trying to hug me, trying to cuddle me. It's like, please, this is too soon. I'm not ready for this. And I felt compromised. I felt uncomfortable. At no point did I feel threatened at all. But, and then, you know, I'm not very good in the moment. I need to think about things. And the more I thought about it, the more annoyed I was getting. So the next morning, he sent me a message and I said to him, look, this is how I'm feeling. This was not okay. You were very pushy and I didn't appreciate it. It's not a proper way to behave. Just because you did all of this for me, I didn't ask for any of it. And he was super, super apologetic. And he's actually just texted me now before I came online, begging. I mean, he's been begging me this was last week. So he's been begging to see me the whole week. And I told him yesterday, I said, I don't think this is going to work. I said, I really can't get over the way you behaved. Because a real man, I need a real man, would never behave like this. But, you know, he's of Middle Eastern descent, and the Middle Eastern men are very touchy-feely. They're very amorous. But it's still not an excuse, you know. I didn't give him a come on at all. And that kind of behavior is just not acceptable.
I hear what you're saying, and I'm sorry you had that experience. I just want to throw something out. You mentioned that in Dubai, you'd be very safe. Here, I would not be able to go to someone's home on a first date because then I feel like they have the power. And I'm saying for myself, I might be giving them the impression that I'm interested in something more. And I think it's also the same thing with getting in someone's car if you don't know them.
Yeah, I mean,
but you did it.
Right.
You're
right. But it's like, it was just, I don't know how to explain it. It's the energy of someone, you know, because I'm a healer and whatever, I'm acutely aware of people's energy. So he wanted to cook for me. There was no other way he could do that than in his home or in my home. And he definitely wasn't coming to my home. And because it was lunch, it was in the daytime. I didn't, you know, I mean, it is not something I would normally do. But because of the circumstance, I accepted it. But you're right. I mean, who knows what was going through his mind, but he is dying. I mean, this guy really likes me. I know that for sure. And he's trying to do whatever he can to correct his mistake. I mean, I think everybody should be allowed one mistake, but I know that he doesn't have the qualities that I'm looking for long term. And I would just end up hurting him and wasting my time. So it's better that you end it now and save everybody the pain for the future. So you've got, you know, at my age, I know what I know, right? It's hard for people to explain. And, you know, I've had a lot of comments saying you're a bit hard, give him a chance. He did all these nice things for you. But that early on, when you don't even know someone, it's inauthentic. It's just inauthentic.
It's very true. And I can relate to what you're saying because I had a relationship with someone who did so many things that were so nice. I would go to get my hair done, and he would literally send dozens of roses for the appointment at the salon. So all the people saw and said, oh, he's this and he's that. But then secretly, when we got together and had a relationship, he was unhinged. And so I felt like all those
narcissistic tendencies.
Yes.
This exactly. Is control. This is about control and making you do what they want you to do through showering you with gifts and love. It's called love bombing.
Absolutely. We actually had one of our team members, Caroline Hewitt, she did a Talking Heads episode about love bombing. So this guy's out. And tell us about some of the things you learned from the others. So we have one case where one person is going above and beyond, cooking this elaborate meal, giving you roses, inviting you to their home, and then all over you. What were some other experiences you had during this dating journey?
There was another guy I went out with, and I met him for coffee, and he was astounded that I just wanted to meet him for coffee. But his ex-wife was Russian, and he only really dated Russian and Ukrainian girls, and they're very much all about the money. Sorry, not sorry. I mean, it's just the way it is, you know. And so when he met me, I think I was a refreshing change for him. But he was just, again, too much about my looks. I mean, we couldn't have a proper conversation because he just kept complimenting me all the time, which is amazing, you know, at my age to be complimented like that. But then he wanted to take me out for dinner, and he wanted to take me to a very expensive restaurant. And I thought to myself, I'm not going to go to an expensive restaurant with someone I'm not that attracted to physically. I mean, there just wasn't that chemistry for me. But I'm experimenting, and I'm thinking, okay, give him a chance. He's very nice. He's a businessman, you know, he was very sweet. I mean, nothing wrong with him. So we went out for dinner, and that's when he was the one also that brought me the bouquet of red roses. And luckily, we caught each other getting out the car in the parking. So I was able to put the roses into my car. But, you know, I have to say, Dr. Jacalyn, that was validation for me, that I have done my inner work and I have raised my vibration. I am now feeling worthy of love and to be treated the right way. So that was incredible validation for me. But he sat through the whole dinner, there was no real conversation. It was just all about how beautiful I was, how amazing my eyes were. You know, how long can you go on? I mean, we're adults. Come on.
So what did you say or do?
Not much. I mean, I was just going with the flow, you know, and then we ended the day. I mean, he also offered to pick me up. So if you allow them to pick you up, then they do have more control. I mean, at the end of the day, you could always go and get a taxi home. But, you know, there is a bit more control. So I usually just meet them wherever. I usually actually, there's a cafe 2 minutes up the road from me. There's actually one under my building, but I don't want them to see where I live. So I meet them just up the road at the shopping centre at my convenience. So that's another thing. You should always get the man to come to you. And if he tries to get you to go to him, that's also not a good sign. Remember, you are a queen. You are worthy of a gentleman. And, you know, whether this is the millennials, it's a new age, whatever it is, there are still gentlemen out there that will treat you properly. I mean, I met my ex-boyfriend of 15 years at the weekend. He was here on business. He's married, he's got kids. Every single time he comes to Dubai, he takes me for a lovely dinner. He buys me a gift. He organizes everything. He's a total gentleman, and he's Scottish.
Well, these are quite the stories. I love it. I remember when I was dating, this is a zillion years ago, I actually would have guys meet me at this restaurant after I was finished work. And I think I told you about it. And I would just have them in half-hour segments, next. Like sometimes they would run into each other. Like one sitting down, the other one's getting up. And I just made it very clear. And the people who worked at the restaurant, they absolutely loved it. But it was a way to just do it at my convenience and then just see, is there any spark there? Is there any chemistry? And this one guy showed up with these, at the time, they were cassettes that he made of music that he thought I might like. And of course, I thought that was very weird because you don't even know me. How do you know what kind of music I like? It was too much, to your point.
It's too much. I mean, you know, flowers mean a lot more coming from someone that knows you. I mean, red roses are by far not my favorite. I mean, as you can see, they never ever bloom, red roses, for me. But yeah, it's a bit inauthentic. It's a bit much. It's a bit over the top. But the other side of the coin is I am worth it and I do deserve this. So
yes, I agree. Now I just want to say something. Red roses typically indicate love.
Yeah.
And I think that there should be some kind of thought put into what kind of flowers do you bring someone you don't even know. You show up with red roses. It's too much.
It's too much. It is too much.
There's a lot of pressure, I feel, that comes with that.
Yeah, and you know, and I made a video about it, about him, and about that scenario, and it's like you do feel compromised in a way that you have to give them something back as a woman. I think all my life I've always felt indebted to people, not even just men, that have given me something. I always have to give them something back. I can't just receive and say thank you. So this is also a lesson for me, you know, but I think, and you know, the way he behaved after was confirmation for me that he actually did expect something, possibly. I mean, I mean, I don't have any doubt that he was absolutely mortified and he was really, really sorry. And, you know, he said, "You're just so beautiful. I can't help myself," and whatever. Well, help yourself, control yourself. be a gentleman. Like, you know, yeah.
Are you a child? You control yourself. I love it. That's so good. I think that if you were able to sit and have a conversation with him about his dating experience, maybe you would find out that there was somebody who this did work on.
Oh, listen to me. There are many women that would just give their all on a date like what I had. They would just, put it all out there. So, and there's so many women like that in Dubai. And I think this is the problem. Men get used to bad behavior. So they expect all women. And, you know, Middle Eastern men have a bit of a thing about European women, and they're easy. They're not like the, you know, the Arabic woman and blah, blah, blah. So there's all this mentality going on. I mean, I'm assuming, I'm not saying him in particular, but even when I first met him and he was sitting next to me, we went to this hotel, it was empty. And, you know, we were talking and he stood up and he kissed my forehead. You know, I'd only been with him 30 minutes. But he's kind of that kind of personality. So I let it go. but it's still not appropriate. It's just not appropriate behavior. Oh, and then the other one I have to tell you about, the narcissist. This was a narcissist of the nth degree. On Bumble, he didn't have his picture. He only had from the waist down. So I could tell he was tall. And he said that the reason he wasn't showing his face was because he was working for a big company and he didn't want anybody to know he was online.
Wait. I have to interrupt you. What do you mean from the waist down? What exactly was in the picture?
It was just, he had a shirt and trousers on, but it was kind of from the chest down.
Okay, you said the waist.
No, sorry, it was kind of the chest down. So, of course, me being Mrs. Curious, swipes on him and he'd matched me. I mean, I think I've got over 200 matches between both of them, guys that have liked me. That was a bit of an ego boost, I have to say. So we talked and he said, look, I said, I really want to see what you look like. He goes, and he was very polite. He said, would you mind giving me your WhatsApp number and I'll send you some pictures? So I said, okay. Sends me some pictures. I thought, he's okay, but let's meet. So I met him for coffee. The minute I walked in, he was tall. He was just my type, much better looking than the picture. Really tall, big, naturally. I mean, just physically what I go for. The minute he came to me, he started touching me, touching my waist, touching my leg. We sat down, he kept touching my knee, touching my ankle. Again, not acceptable. And he was very specific about what he wanted, asking me questions. And he had 3 boys, he had a wife that apparently all live in the house together, but they're separate. So he was I won't say what nationality, again, Middle Eastern. Again, you know, a lot of men come on to these apps and they are married. And they're maybe not having sex or whatever. And so they go on these dating sites. But he had one goal in mind, was to have sex. I mean, I could see that. He was running around the houses with it, but that's actually was all he was looking for. So we left, and then he walked me to the car and he tried to kiss me at the car. Another red flag. You know, I mean, what? I'd sat with him for an hour. I'm not 16 years old, you know. The next morning at 5 a.m., I get some message when I put my phone on. Good morning, sexy Katrina, super sexy Katrina. I've been thinking about you all night.
Oh, please. Did you start to laugh?
So I said, good morning. So then, a couple of hours later, he calls me up. This is the morning. It was the weekend. I'm like, really? It was like 8 o'clock in the morning or something. Well, I really want to solidify this date. Where are we going? When am I seeing you? What do you want to do? And I said, well, I don't know. And he says, well, can I come over to yours? I said, no, absolutely not. So he didn't really like that. He was trying to compose himself, always trying to be anything you want, anything that makes you comfortable. It's okay with me. Okay, so what about if we go to a nice hotel? I said, well, there's lots of nice hotels in Dubai. Sure. He said, shall I book a room?
What?
I said, no, you will not book a room. Why do you want to book a room? I said, I'm not going to have sex with you. He goes, look, I just want to be alone with you. I want some intimacy. I want to get to know you. He goes, if we have sex, we have sex. If we don't, we don't. I said, we are not having sex. I said, I'm telling you that right now. We are not having sex. So, and he was just running around the houses trying to convince me. I said, I will think about it. I will think about it. And then later on that day, I just blocked and deleted him off everything.
I was going to say, because it sounds like just from hearing the story, it sounds like he was trying to wear you down and maybe was starting to work.
Totally. Total narcissistic tendencies. Absolutely. So I was very proud of myself that I didn't fall for it, you know, because he was extremely manipulative and definitely used to getting what he wants. So I was laughing to myself because the next day he would have probably tried to text me and he would have probably been going crazy that he'd seen that I'd blocked him and deleted him off everything. And it's interesting because none of these guys have my Instagram. They're not following me on Instagram, but except the Italian. And then there was this one nice guy that I talked to right in the beginning who was American. He was a banker. He was very well read, very spiritual, very, he studied religions and all the rest of it. Super interesting. I was really looking forward to meeting him. And then all of a sudden he ghosted me. He just disappeared. So a week later, I thought, I'm just so curious as to what's happened to this guy because we were getting on very well. And I said to him, is it something I said? LOL. And he still didn't reply to me until this weekend. He had been secretly following me on Instagram and watching all my posts about all these other men. Well, he sent me this big, long text telling me how disingenuous I was and what a fraud I was and how could I call myself a relationship coach and I should, you know, try and find a decent man instead of running after serial dating with all these men, making a joke out of it. I'm like,
oh my gosh, you saved yourself. That guy is off limits. Forget him. He is not good on any level. I'm not judging him as a person. I'm just saying he's judging you.
Totally. So
he doesn't even know you.
I didn't answer immediately because I like to process things. And I was actually with my ex-boyfriend when I received this text. We were at dinner and it actually spoiled the rest of the night for me. I received it about 10 o'clock at night and he was saying, I've thought long and hard and I don't want to be a DICK, but you know, this isn't good and blah, blah. And the next afternoon, I sent him a voice message. This was very good.
Drum roll,
so
please.
What do you do? What do you do in a situation like that? You treat them with kindness. You kill them with kindness. And so I said to him, hi, how are you? And he deleted the message in the morning, by the way. He deleted it. But I had already saved it and got it and read it. So I said to him, I see you've deleted the message. I said, well, actually, I did read it. And considering you've never met me, I think that was a little bit too much. I said, you know, you were by far the man that I wanted to meet above everyone else. And I said, but you know, you're all entitled to your opinion. I said, and I really wish you well. I know that you're going to meet an amazing woman that totally deserves you because you really were. I thought you were an amazing person. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I said, I'm just disappointed that you didn't give me the chance. I said, but you have a great day.
So now, did you mean all those things that you said?
I did, because he was really engaged. I mean, I really liked him. Talking to him, he'd send me voice messages. He was in touch with me for about a week. But you see, this is where you separate the men from the boys. Because there are a few guys that have been watching me and they've still went out on a date with me and it hasn't fazed them. And I told the Maserati guy what I was doing and he was laughing. He said, so you're going to go out on a date with me and then post about it? I said, yeah. And it didn't faze him. So that is the difference between the men and the boys. I rest my case.
We're going to change this from the dating chronicles of Katrina to the crazy chronicles. So you're getting to the point where you're starting to slow down now because it's taking so much time. So how are you going to wrap up this whole dating journey?
Look, I mean, it's allowed my viewers to see me in a different light, which has been super, super difficult for me to do, being known in aesthetics for so many years. So this was the perfect opportunity. And within every video, I am giving a lesson. I'm giving a learning within every video. It's just not gossip, you know. So it's been very useful for me. And now I will continue giving dating advice and relationship advice. And I'm posting testimonials from my clients. So it's been the break that I've needed to step onto that platform. And I'm being interviewed on the 10th of June by the only dating podcast in Dubai. So that's great.
Congratulations. That's very exciting.
Yeah.
Happy for you. We do have a couple of comments from Gaffa Bromley Precy. Hi, Gaffa, joining us from Ghana, and she'll be joining our team very soon. Good afternoon, and ha ha ha, extraordinary show ever. Katrina, you look absolutely beautiful. By the way, I'm not going to go on and on because like these other people, but you, whatever you're doing, keep doing it because you're glowing. You just look magnificent.
Thank you, darling. Well, it's all this adoration I'm getting. I think it's upping the aphrodisiac hormone in me, I think, maybe. My goodness.
And it gives you a certain level of empowerment, doesn't it?
Look, it's been fun. It has been fun. Like, I've been laughing every day, all day, and it's given me a lot of inspiration. And, you know, where I was so stuck for things to talk about, because beauty wasn't really interesting me anymore, and I was really fighting with myself to try and come up with posts. Now it's just flowing out of me. So it's been fantastic for that reason.
And you've given us some laughs as well, so thank you. And we do have another comment from someone on YouTube. Top resume coaches, enjoyed listening to you both. Thank you for being here. And thanks for your comment. That's very nice.
Thank you.
When I was dating, I had a whole bunch of stories too, which I still use, because if you go out with enough people, you're going to have material that you could write a book. And we actually had somebody on our dating show. We had a dating show, and he wrote a book, I think 100 dates that he took. And it was really comical.
Yeah, I'm getting such good feedback. It's only the men that are kind of hating on me a bit. But most of the girls are just like, go on, Katrina, you know, and I'm helping them see things in a different way, seeing what's possible. I'm getting a lot of positive feedback, and that I didn't really expect. I mean, this was not planned. This happened purely organically, and I think sometimes that's the best way, you know.
I agree with you. Can you share with our audience about the work you're doing now as a relationship coach? What are some of the ways that you can do to help people?
Look, it depends on the individuals. I mean, I've just been working with a couple that I had in the Maldives, and within 4 sessions, they had a breakthrough. I did 3 with her, 3 with him, and 1 together. They had a breakthrough, and then they kind of got back home and things got a little bit tough again. They got back on the calls with me. I did a couple of clearings on them, and now they're back being intimate after 4 months of celibacy. And that is just, my job is done.
There's nothing more to say on that note. How can people contact you and work with you?
I have a website, katrinavalente.com, that will be being upgraded as we speak. I'm on Instagram every day. That's where you'll find all my posts, Katrina Valente and the number 1. And also Facebook. I'm posting there as well, just with my name.
Fantastic. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure to see you today and to hear these stories. So I know you have 1 more week of dating, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you'll have to come back next week and tell us what's going on.
I'll give you the final conclusion.
I think we are all on pins and needles waiting to hear. So whomever they are out there, maybe rethink what you're doing with the flowers and the hands-on approach, right? Which,
Yeah,
by the way,
definitely.
before we close out, when is it appropriate for someone to start touching you? You specifically?
I think when I feel the chemistry. I mean, it could happen quite quickly. It's the chemistry, you know, for me. But I think certainly on a first date, second date, it's not really appropriate.
Now I'm going to play
think the
devil's advocate. Wait. What if you see them and there's instant chemistry? Where does that fit into the rule book?
that's yet to happen. So maybe the next two I'll be able to tell you.
Is it possible if you have instant chemistry with someone that you say, book that hotel room?
Maybe. But it's not, but you know, I think that's always a mistake, because then the chemistry is one thing, but the personality is another. So if you go to bed with someone too quickly and then you get to know them and the two don't match, then that's also a mistake. And I don't want that to happen, because I've got to, you know, practice all the sex therapy that I've been learning. So I need a regular man by my side, you know, that I can teach things to. I can't just have one here and one there. I want one man only. So come on, guys, get your act together.
Are you going to give him a handbook of what he needs to do?
No. I'll show him. I'll show him. You know, I'm very kinesthetic. My God.
Oh, we have another comment. Top resume coaches, thank you. I thought I had dating stories. I thought it would be different in other parts of the world. I guess not. I am Coach Kim with Top Resume Coaches, and we'll go follow you. Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. I think it's the same the world over. I mean, a lot of the men tell me that the women here are all gold diggers. They won't go out with you unless you take them to expensive restaurants, buy them gifts. I mean, even on the dating apps, there's a 24-year-old. I'm a model and I like expensive gifts and flowers. That's on the profile.
It's crazy.
This is not my generation, you know?
So, I know. I hear you. I had a crazy dating story, which I told you already. I'll just quickly say, because we have another show. But I met this guy for dinner. It was second date. He was very, very handsome plastic surgeon. I thought, this could be fabulous. I can get injectables, Botox, all kinds of things for gifts, right? And he's very well educated. Anyway, on and on. We sit down, and I remember it was a really important day because I had just gotten approval that my doctoral dissertation was accepted, and I was going to be Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. So I was celebrating, and he sits down, he orders something, the food comes, and he tells me that he does not have any money. He has no wallet, and he actually doesn't have a car anymore. And he rode his bike, and he's in a suit. He rode his bicycle. Then he proceeds to tell me that his ex-wife took all of it. I mean, the story was so convoluted. I don't even know how somebody could come up with this. So then he tells me that he's no longer a board certified plastic surgeon, that he lost his license. So I paid for the dinner.
You stayed for dinner?
Wow, no, I paid when I said, I'm getting the check. I'm leaving. You can sit. And I thought to myself, how could he be riding a bicycle in his suit on I-95, which is a major, like 6-8 lane highway?
My God.
So even that part wasn't true. So anyway, the guy was a complete and total liar, but extremely handsome, very accomplished, and obviously did something wrong that he was no longer a board certified plastic surgeon. But that was a shame, because I really liked him. He was sending me poems, but he was a narcissist liar. Okay, on that note.
No, I mean, really, Actually, there's been a couple of guys giving me, there's one guy that's been married for 30 years and he's really given me a hard time, saying, you know, what do you want? They're nice to you, you're rolling your eyes. They're not nice to you, you're saying something else about them. I said, listen, this is my experience and it's valid. It's validating to me based on my knowledge of male and female dynamic. I'm not talking from a layman's point of view. I'm talking from a professional point of view, from somebody that's a healer. So there's a big difference. So, but he was giving me a lot of grief on Facebook. And yeah, I mean, you'll always get that, which is, I think, one of the reasons I never really wanted to go big on social media, because of all the haters you get, you know. And I mean, this guy sending me a big long text message telling me what I am and if I was you, he says, I would delete all these posts if you want people to take you seriously. That's what he said to me. I'm like, really?
Oh my goodness. Well, yeah. I personally am really enjoying your stories, and each person is not for everyone, right? Not everybody's
Absolutely.
not everybody likes this platform.
Absolutely.
So we just focus on the positives. You're doing wonderful work, and I'm really happy for you as your transition to your new role as a relationship coach, and please keep up the great work.
Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. Always a pleasure. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too. It's good seeing you. Bye for now. And thanks to each and every one of you who are out there, who are watching or who are listening. We're so happy to have you. We have more and more subscribers every day. We do have a global platform. We currently have 37 different shows you can choose from. So there's something for everyone. And if you always wanted to have your own show or host a show with me, please do reach out. If you'd like to be a guest, you can go to the same website for all of our services. It's usaglobaltvandradio.com or usaglobaltv.com. We are coming right back with our next show, which is Women in Business. So we're super excited to have somebody else share their story and their experience. And then we'll be coming back with our show called A Woman's Prerogative. It's at a special time today because of the holiday, but we do have women from around the world who do join us each week to talk about their experiences. Sometimes we have very serious topics, and other times they're just topics for fun. So either way, you can go to our YouTube channel, USA Global TV and Radio, and subscribe there to watch all of our content. Thanks again. We'll be right back.